Hello, guys, and welcome to Fuck the Football. And today we will be talking about Hansi Flick's second year and the second La Liga title. Yes, we've won it, we've done it, we've sealed it, and it is us for the taking. We are the La Liga champions of this year, and this wasn't a fluke. I think when it comes to second year of coaches, you expect coaches to be more successful, and actually, Hansi Flick was more successful, but obviously it couldn't mirror the exact replica that we had last season where we won so many trophies except for the Champions League. And even in this year, we had a disappointing Champions League. But nonetheless, the La Liga now, Barcelona were facing a fierce opponent in Real Madrid. Real Madrid had lost the league last year and they were trophyless last season as well. And the league was a place where they wanted to make a statement. And they actually got a big statement signing in Kylian Mbappe. And the other contender, always the other contenders, Atletico Madrid were there and they had perhaps, they still do, I think, perhaps the most terrifying squad depths in Europe. But in all, Barcelona was triumphant, and we need to know why. Why did Barcelona get triumphant? See, that's where data and stats come in handy, and that's what we're going to look at in Fakta Football. Last season, Barcelona looked talented, but this season they actually looked complete. Because despite Kylian Mbappe led Real Madrid, even with Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham, uh, Federico Valverde, have to mention him, great mention, great player. And with Atletico Madrid's one of the deepest squad depths, Barcelona dominated the league not only offensively, that's what we usually do, but even defensively, structurally, and mentally. Now we're going to look at some of the overall stats that actually made them perhaps one of the best league teams in the division. Now, wait, before we get into that, Barcelona did learn from last season. The biggest difference, there was much more emotional control. They weren't losing games just as they go. Yes, they were conceding of early goals, as they usually do. Barcelona loves conceding early goals. If they do, let's concede them early, right? And when they did do that, they did not back down. When in the last few seasons, we knew for a fact if we were 1-0 down, there was a very rare chance of getting back, even if it's against a very small team. But that's exactly what Barcelona didn't do. They actually grinded each and every win and made sure the performances came in numbers. Yes, there were many goals, right? Now, the numbers literally are ridiculous. Okay, now I'm going to put up this. Yes, this is the offensive comparison of the last of the top five La Liga teams. And as you can see, goals scored by Barcelona 89 to 82 of Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid just 71. To be honest, that's actually a lot coming from Atletico Madrid, given the fact that, well, they are a fairly defensive. Chulo loves defense. We all know that. Annoying, I know, but Chulo loves defense. Now, Villarreal and Real Betis, the top five teams, 69 and 63. I have to give it to Villarreal. They haven't been around for many seasons, and I think they're finally coming back to becoming a top team. So great to know that there's going to be more competition in the coming year. And Real Betis as well actually looked quite fearsome in many of the matches, and yeah, with 63 goals. But Barcelona's shots on targets 286. They had 286 shots on targets, and yeah, big chances created. They had almost 119 big chances that were created. 119. And here's the thing. They've actually missed 71 of them. Imagine if they had scored 71 of them. Imagine even if, let's say, we not the complete 100%, but even if they took half of the 71, that's actually close to 100 plus 120 goals that they would have actually scored. Barcelona missed 71 of these chances. The fact of the matter is they were so threatening offensively that they had created a dangerous volume of big chances for them to score, like a danger. They were opening opponents left, right, and center, and these were thanks to the high line that's been maintained. While you're trying to break the high line, you've obviously committed a few people forward, and Barcelona has started taking that space into account and actually exploiting the space to a point wherein the attackers have been dropping down to the midfield positions. When you have Pedri, when you have Bernal, when you have Frankie de Jong going back, You have the attackers come back, take the ball, and start the play from there. Actually, a lot of the attacks did start from the back as well. We will get into that shortly. Yeah, basically, Barcelona created such an overwhelming volume of dangerous attacks this season that even after wasting 71 major chances, they still finished as La Liga's highest scoring side. They didn't have the top goal scorer, but they were the highest. They still are the highest scoring side in La Liga. Yes, another important stat. Okay, now we are a possession team. We are a team that loves possession. And we actually did that. We drove 70% of the possession. But unlike the previous seasons, this possession actually resulted in goals, actually resulted in chances being created. We were hitting 2.61 goals per match. We had almost 3 goals per match. There were many beautiful matches that ended up in fours. So yeah, no complaints from a fan this season. And now we know we love to attack. We obviously know we love to attack. But defensively, now this is surprising. Okay, we had Martinez leave this season, and there were big questions coming on how we are going to do defensively. Now that's where we've actually made a difference. Defensively, see the stats, it's quite simple. We've conceded only 31 goals. Pretty much close to Real Madrid, but we've had 15 clean sheets. 15 games where we got the points just because we had a clean sheet. 15 clean sheets, and we faced almost 244 shots on target. 244 shots on target across the season, the most one of the highest in the league. I think just bested, second bested by Real Betis over there, and Real Betis and Villarreal. But we had 244 shots facing us. Now, who was the man of the moment who was stopping these shots? Yes, you're right. I think we need to start talking about the people who made the La Liga win this year. First and foremost is Joan Garcia. Yes, the Mercurial keeper had had his first full season with Barcelona, and what he has done has been absolutely mind-boggling because he's not only helped. Oh, yes, that is it is called keep judges. All these stats have come from La Liga, and yes, this is something that I've taken from La Liga itself. He's played in 30 matches, all 30 starts, 2,700 minutes clocked in, not a minute missed at this point. Conceded 3 penalties overall, but he's caught almost 74 of these 244 shots that were coming in, and he's blocked almost 20 of them. 74 plus 20. If we're going to look at it from a goals and assists point of view, these are the goals and assists that John Garcia did for the team. He has close to blocked 40%, saved 40% of these goals from happening. And that's how you can see we just conceded 31 goals over the season. That's crazy, man. That's absolutely crazy. I think John Garcia has had a fantastic season. He's been there in the key matches, making key saves, even when we were down, even when we were struggling to get those 1-0 wins. John Garcia had actually stepped up and made sure those wins were clocked in. Next people I want to talk to you about are our defensive center backs. Yes, our center backs have been absolutely killing it. And is has to be a special mention for Eric Garcia and Pau Kubarsi. Now, both of these players phenomenal in their own way. But let's start with Pau Kubarsi. Pau Kubarsi has started in 31 of these matches where all 31 were starts. Actually, Pau Kubarsi has become pretty much the main center back. I do feel like I like to liken him to the likes of PK. I feel like he's a bit more of a PK kind of a player, and that's where he's occupying the position. And yes, he's played all the matches for La Liga. He's been a permanent defensive stronghold for us, and he has delivered. Now, a very interesting stat about Pau Gobasi. Obviously, we know that he's already had 15 clean sheets, shared with John Garcia, of course. But if you look at the board, yes, these are the top passers in La Liga, and Pau Gobasi is leading all of them. That's insane. That literally means that we started from the back so many times, and Pau Gobasi and Eric Garcia, the only person standing in between them is Marcus Alonso from Celta. And yes, they've literally completed more than 2,000 plus passes, 2,500 plus for Kobazi, and 2,276 for Eric Garcia, the highest passes in the league. That in itself speaks a lot when you look at the league and why we won. And yes, we also have Pedri coming in a close sixth. Petty had a fairly quiet season, but yes, 2055. But coming back to Pau Kubasi and Eric Garcia, yeah, he's had a phenomenal season. And even Eric, the matter, has played practically every position this season. Eric Garcia literally has played center back, defensive midfield, and even right back when needed. Now, you don't get versatile players like this. When he was a centre back, he all had the ball progression control, defensive recovery, ball control, and he's actually helped Barcelona maintain a lot of position stability. A role that used to be played very well by Busquets back in the day has been taken up by Eric Garcia. We always thought there would be another Busquets coming in. We didn't know there was one already amongst us. And yeah, quite rightly finishing in as one of the top players to with the highest pass completion rates. Now, this also is very impressive because he's played multiple positions this season, and the fact that he's been able to pull that off, nothing like it. And next, we move on to the interesting guys, the guys we all love, the guys we love to adore, starting with the phenomena Lamine Yamal. What a season Lamine Yamal has had. Absolute maturity, coming in with almost 27 goal contributions, 16 goals, 11 assists. Matches played, 28 starts, 26. That's madness. I think the only time he stopped playing was that injury that he got, the hamstring injury he got. And just one match before the El Clasico. And yes, I don't think it bothered in the El Clasico. We beat them fair and square 2-0 that time. But yes, Yamal has been phenomenal. You can't believe this guy's just a teenager. And the kind of stats that he brings to the table is 85 shots he's had across the season. And he's had some great games this season. I think there were times when Barcelona looked lost and Lamine Yamal single-handedly picked them up to get them to the finish line. And that speaks a lot about the maturity the player has. Rather than being a glory hunter, he's been always a team player, which I hope he does not lose as a quality since he's still at the starting stages of his career. Next up, partnering Lamine was a very unlikely hero, Ferran Torres. And I think Ferran Torres has been he's been a constant out for us, Barca fans. I think all Barca fans can agree. We've never been sure about Ferran Torres, but I feel Ferran Torres has been very integral in winning this La Liga. Torres has actually played more games than Lamine Yamal. He's actually played 32 games and has had 16 goal contribution, direct contributions, one assist, not the best, but he's actually had a better rate conversion than he's had in the previous season. He's actually had a much better conversion rate than the previous season, and he's all converted almost 30% of his shots on goals this season. That's massive. That's a great conversion rate, and he's Varane actually quietly became one of the Barcelona's most efficient forwards. Smart movement, intelligent positioning, quietly reliable goal contribution, and he didn't dominate headlines. He wasn't in the limelight most of the times, but he was actually quietly adding the goals every now and then. Even with the top league goal scorers, even with the top league goal scorers, if you have a look, you literally have Farhan and Yamil at 16 contributions each. Yes, you also have Rafinha there in the top 10. Thankfully, Rafinha had perhaps some not nowhere close to what Rafinha we saw last season. He did not have the best of seasons, but yes, he's been able to contribute. But yes, Farhan and Lamine were key throughout the season, popping in goals, popping in contributions every now and then. Next up, currently my favorite player from the Barcelona roster because he reminds me of a Spanish Thomas Muller, if you need me to say. Yeah, he plays in a position which can rarely be defined. He's literally behind the strikers. He's sometimes on the wings, but I feel like his most effective position is right behind the strikers, creating havoc, running into the box, uh, building up space, breaking the play, and also getting into tough interceptions. Now that's something that Fermin has done quite literally. And yeah, we've been talking about Fermin Lopez, but he's not had as many goal contributions as your top guys, just around 15 this season, but he has been scrumming it out. And there have been some fantastic long range goals that Firmino has given. Many of them for the books, many of them for La Liga goal of the season. I think Firmino today, for me, is perhaps one of the most favorite Barcelona players right now, given the kind of fluidity he gives, given the kind of movement he brings, the flexibility he brings in the play, and uh, the kind of uh, openness that he gets once he's on the field. I think that's something that Firmino really thrives on, and Firmino has done a fantastic job over there. Next up, in the same position, in the same comparison, but not the same kind of player. You have Danny Olmo. Okay, Danny Olmo has had a very strange season last year. To be honest, there was a point where he wasn't even sure whether he'll be employed at FC Barcelona or not. And for many, it's a dream club, and that's I'm sure it's a nightmare. I mean, if we don't get a salary, we would get very iffy about it. And the fact that he actually was able to get over through that period and have a more stable starting position. He's played 32 matches. Now, Danny almost famously known for having so many injuries always on his head that it's been difficult for him to carry out the whole season. But he's actually played 32 of the La Liga matches, making him another key player for us this season. Yeah, not all of them starts, 23 starts only. But yeah, here's a very interesting thing. If you see the fouls, the amount of fouls, he's actually done a lot of the dirty work this season. And he's turned up, especially in the last minute goals. He's actually turned up play to ensure the goals are coming in. When Barcelona needed the one goal to get over the line, there was Dani Olmo. Again, a very similar position for me. And I believe both of these guys, I do not know how they can be played on the same side in the same position. But if someone can figure this out, honestly, Hansi Flick can. I think it's going to be a dangerous combination coming ahead for the next season as well. And my last but not the least, I feel this season it has to. I think the most favorite moment I had from Marcus Rashford has to be the title-winning goal in El Clasico. I mean, that free kick was a peach, an absolute peach. The way he swirls the ball right onto the top bin. Oh my God. I know we've seen this Rashford in Manchester United, but this Rashford wasn't seen for almost 6, 7 years. In the last few years, Manchester United has been in turmoil, and he's actually rightly come back to loving football. You could actually see him play with a smile on his face. That's what Barcelona does, though. That's a pretty usual thing. I don't know why people are making fuss about it, but the fact that Marcus Rashford was smiling while scoring goals was phenomenal. He himself actually very similar stats. He's actually come with 15 goal contributions himself. So he not only became key, but he's actually had a winning feeling going through and through the season and actually uh, made that winning feeling count till the end of the season. You could see him in the last interview where he was hoping this contract be extended, and we honestly, even I hope it does get extended, because the thing about Marcus Rashford that sets him apart from every other Barcelona player is that all Barcelona players come from a La Masia style of play. Uh, Marcus Rashford does not. That in itself is enough for the opponents to think there's a new dimension in attack, and that's exactly what Marcus Rashford does. He's extremely direct, which is not seen with Barcelona players. They get the ball close to the D, they're actually passing it around to get the right opening. Marcus Rashford, on the other hand, just pushes through. There is this physicality that he uses, there is this movement, and there's this run that he uses every now and then to stun the opponent, which I feel is very rarely seen in La Liga. I feel that I see it a lot with Vinicius Jr. I do see it a lot with Julian Alvarez also, but I have not seen it in Barcelona. And this was very refreshing to see an English player bolt to the defenses and get the goals. Now, this team gives you uh, a confidence that when you're coming into next season, you actually have a solid setup. You do not have something that's flaky. We've actually missed a lot of people in action this season, contributing a lot more. Pedri, shout outs to the other players. One of them is Pedri. Pedri had a fairly quiet season, not a lot of goal contributions, but yeah, he was there in the defense doing the grunt work and ensuring that there was no blockage of play between the defense and the attack. And that's where you can actually see Pau Kubasi and Eric Garcia exploiting that space that is held up by Pedri and going directly to to the forwards. Right. We also had Frankie De Jong, who barely featured in this season. I think with the injuries that he's carried, we've honestly missed the maturity of Frankie De Jong. That was my worry also in between the season, whether in the crunch matches like Real Sociedad, Real Betis, Villarreal, even Real Madrid, a Frankie De Jong is needed, and he wasn't present. And we've actually had a fairly decent results from all of these guys as well. Another big miss, I think, this season was Rafinha. He was there in the stands. He was supporting the team. He was always there. But Would have loved to watch him play more. I think that is something we all missed, and it's not something that we would want it to repeat in the next season, because I know for a fact, okay, if you look at this team, we know Lewandowski is going on, fine, but it's age and the fact that he's actually given a great service to us. He's been responsible for us winning last season La Liga, and this season, while his contributions weren't as many, he was there for the team as a leader, as a head, as a mature head amongst the team. And I think with his departure, even with Martin is going, that sense of maturity will be going. Now, with next season coming up, I really hope Marcus Rashford is given a contract extension. Hope that works out. I don't think we have solid news. If there is solid news, please put it on the comments. I may not be aware of this, but Marcus Rashford continuing would be a blessing for Barcelona, and Rafinha being fully fit would actually be a very big blessing, which would actually mean other teams would need to be scared, because Rafinha getting back to last season's form in the coming season. The World Cup's also coming, and I hope there is going to be a lot of great performances by many of these players, and that would definitely boost their confidence going in the next season. With the new recruits, I think there are a lot of transfer discussions happening with a big centre back and a forward. But more on that in some other video, I think. Thank you so much, guys, for watching me. And yes, leave your comments, leave your suggestions down below, and I would love to hear from you. In case you feel like there was any other player who was a stand-up player and I did not cover him, my bad. Do mention in the comments below. I will try to make up to that player as well. Thank you so much.